Steve is in Alais in France. Morning, Steve. Why do people love to fight?
Well, yes, I don't anymore particularly, but previously when I was younger, I grew up under Brian Clough.
Oh, okay. Damned United.
Well, it wasn't the Damned United at that point. It was, he was Derby's manager, and
you used to get involved, did you, Steve? You used to fight back then.
Yeah. I mean, our biggest rivals were clubs like Leeds and Coventry, and
And how did it work, Steve? Did you just, if you saw rival fans, you'd have a fight? Was it organised? Would you meet up? Was it around pubs?
No. It was mainly on the terraces at that time.
Yeah, in the stadium.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, because there was very little control in the stadiums at that point in time. You know, it was all standing, no seats whatsoever.
Yep.
And so it was mainly on the terraces, and it was who would run the others quickest. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
I do, Steve. And how did you feel then, seeing this happening in Amsterdam on Thursday night?
Well, I was there. I was in the city yesterday because I have a house in Amsterdam and a house in France, and it did bring back some memories from 50 years ago. Yeah, as I say, I'm now 72, so not old enough to participate in such stuff. But
do you wish you were young enough to be able to?
Part of me says so, and a part of me says not. So ambivalent response, really.
What part of you makes you feel like you did? Is it the thrill? Is it the rush?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And also the political part also, which I completely disagree with. That also plays a part in it. So, yeah. I mean,
how do you get your rushes now, Steve? How do you get that exhilaration now?
By chainsawing down big trees.
Oliver in Harlesden. Good evening, Oliver.
Hello. I don't know if it was you I spoke to the other day, and I told you that Trump's going to beat.
Oh, Oliver, I remember your call. To be fair to you were spot on. You got it spot on. You said, I remember talking, what was it, about a few months ago, and you said, all this stuff about the court cases is only going to help him. He will win this election. And I said, I'm not sure, I think he might. And you were certain, and you were right.
You know how I knew that? Because all the minorities supported him. All the black people, the Hispanic, the Arabs, everybody stick together just to beat Harris. But nobody wanted that woman.
Well, that's not quite right. I'm pretty sure I'm saying more black Americans voted for Harris than Trump. Still.
Yeah, but remember, the Democrats, they need the black vote to be elected.
Yeah, you're saying that actually he won over a lot more ethnic minorities than he had the last time.
Exactly.
Which is true.
That's what made me.
How did he do that?
Because he can connect to the people. The other lady, she couldn't. She had no experience. And remember, Harris has a very big skeleton in the closet. We know what she did in the past. 5 years ago, she was a persecutor. She used to lock up black people for fun, single black mothers. She sentenced to death a black guy, 2 black guys actually. It was revealed that she hid the evidence because she wanted to boost a statistic, and that backfired on her.
She when she was Attorney General in California, she did, of course, prosecute black people. Donald Trump, on the other hand, of course, described neo-Nazis having a rally in Charlotte as good people.
Hold on. I have to stop you right there, because when he said people on both sides, and he did say, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazi and the Ku Klux Klan, that should be banned immediately. That's what he said. And I know that's what you want to talk about. He said he wanted to ban neo-Nazi and the Ku Klux Klan. He did say that, because I listened to the full footage, and he did say that. He did condemn the far-right.
So why did he describe some of the people taking part in a white nationalist protest as some very fine people?
He was probably talking about the people who didn't really participate in the right ring, whatever. You know exactly what he was talking about. But he did say he condemned
the people who just happened to be at a white supremacist rally but weren't actually participating.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he did condemn the white supremacists. Probably the people who would participate to that march, maybe they were not in that crowd. They were not with extreme ones. Probably that's what he meant. But people always stick that part because it just suits the narrative. That's why.
Oliver, let's look forward a bit. How are you feeling about 4 years of Donald Trump in office?
4 years, about the outcome of the 4 years, or the.
How do you feel about it? Are you pleased? Are you excited?
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that the lady. I'm very happy the lady didn't win, because if the lady won, I'm telling you.
Can we call her? She's the current vice president of the United States of America. Can we call her Kamala Harris rather than the lady?
Listen, whatever you want to call that woman.
Well, I want to call her a name. I want to call her a name. I think she deserves that.
Kamala Harris was not fit for being president.
What are you excited about when it comes to the next 4 years?
The next 4 years, I think, is going to be. But 4 years. I mean, 2016. It was an unprepared Trump. He wasn't prepared. But this one is going to be a very well-prepared, experienced Trump.
Prepared for what?
He had 4 years to think about what he's going to do. I think that you see, when he lost against Biden, that was a blessing.
What is it you think he's going to do, Oliver?
I think he's going to bring peace in the world. There will be no more. Since he's been elected, Netanyahu wants to meet him. The leader of the Hamas wants to meet him. Putin wants to meet him. They all want to meet him. That means
of course they want to meet him. He's the President of the United States of America.
Yeah, but
what do you make of him making the new US ambassador to Israel a man who says there is no occupation in the West Bank?
Listen, all I'm trying to say, I'm going to be very simplistic. I might sound a little bit simplistic, but all I'm going to tell you that in the next 4 years, there will be no more war. No more war in Gaza, no more war in Ukraine. And I can tell you, he's going to bring peace. That's all I wish. And he's going to do it. Not like the previous government who couldn't care less. He's going to do it. Trump's going to bring peace.
All right,
that's all
Oliver,
I want.
you were right last time. I'm not going to dismiss you because you were spot on about the outcome of the US election. I'm a bit sceptical that Donald Trump is going to manage to bring about world peace, but we will see.
Ken in Tunbridge Wells. Hello.
Hello, Sheila.
Hello.
Hello, Sheila. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Ken. Fire away.
Yes. There is another perspective to this. There is another angle to this. There was a deal in Istanbul in 2021 between Ukraine and Russia and the West, and it was all ready to go. Ukraine accepted it, and unfortunately the West stepped in. Some people from the West stepped in, and Boris Johnson was involved as well, and they said, you're not having that deal of neutrality, you're not having that deal with Russia, we're going to support you to the hilt. And so there was a deal in place. That's the first point. The second point is the West, especially America, seems to have a problem with Russia. Russia is the West, and the West has tried to overcome Russia. Napoleon tried, the Nazis tried, and they didn't succeed.
Can I ask you, do you mean prior? I'm having to remind myself about this Istanbul thing. Do you mean prior to the invasion? So
yes,
the simmering war was ongoing. You mean prior to the invasion?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. So this is a war of choice. This is not a war of Russian aggression. You know, if
Whose choice?
Russia made it clear
Whose
that
choice?
Ukraine, the West's choice. Russia made it clear that they didn't want NATO to expand as far east to their doorstep. Don't do it. Putin made that clear. How would America feel if Mexico became part of Russia and said, we can have, arms in Mexico? They wouldn't accept it, just as Russia doesn't accept it. We wouldn't accept if Scotland departed from the UK and became part of Russia and wanted to have Russian missiles on their land. We wouldn't accept it. We need to look at that in perspective. But again, coming to the other point, Russia is now a superpower. China is a superpower. America has to accept this. We're now in a multipolar world.
When has it not accepted it?
It hasn't accepted it at all. This war in Ukraine is a war between America and Russia. It's a proxy war, nothing more. The West has spent hundreds of thousands of maybe billions spending arms into Ukraine, killing Ukrainian people.
Can I come in for a minute, Ken?
Yes, please do.
I can't find much detail on that 2021 Istanbul thing you're talking about, I'm afraid.
I may have had the date wrong, Sheila, but it did take place.
Well,
anyone with any credibility will tell you it did take place.
All right. There was a deal offered in 2024, or as of 2024. Ukraine's peace terms are that Russia withdraws its troops. Russia's so-called peace terms are that Russia must be allowed to keep all the land it occupies and that it be given all of the provinces that it claims but doesn't yet fully control, mainly on the east. It obviously wants that eastern stretch all the way down towards Crimea, doesn't it? And that Ukraine end plans to join NATO. Now, that's broadly speaking where both sides are at the moment. But go further back to 1994 and the Budapest Memorandum Agreement, in which, after the Russian occupation, the agreement in which Russia reaffirmed a security assurance to Ukraine that it would not be interfered with, it would not be bothered. And it's broken that, hasn't it?
But the constitution of Ukraine was that it had to stay neutral. The whole point about this is that Ukraine must stay neutral. Do you remember back in 1991 when the Soviet Union fell and Gorbachev went to America and there was this huge, massive opportunity for peace in the world? Gorbachev went to America and said, look, we want to be friends. We want to trade with you. This is an opportunity for a new path for the world. But they squandered it. They squandered that opportunity. They kept fighting.
Okay, it's interesting. It's interesting that you see all of this through a pro-Russian prism?
Because we don't see that perspective in the mainstream media. All we see from the mainstream media is the Western perspective.
But is it possible it's more nuanced than that?
It's possible that,
with both sides, or all three sides taken into account, Ukraine, America and Russia.
Yeah, America, unfortunately, is a warmongering machine. They need to feed
and Russia?
The military. How many bases has Russia got around the world compared to America? America's got 800 bases around the world.
Yeah, I'm not saying that America is a teddy bear, but I'm asking you about Russia as well.
Russia has a very strong military machine as well, but that is simply because to defend this vast country, it needs a huge military. But it's not. And
I'm not suggesting it gives up its military, but it's been aggressive in Chechnya, in Georgia, in other parts of that.
Hang on, just a moment. Let me just say, you said Georgia. Georgia is aligned with Russia. The West has interfered in Georgia.
So any choices that an independent nation makes that used to be a part of the Soviet Union rattles, understandably, I guess, rattles Putin. But it doesn't mean we have to agree with everything he does as a result of that, Ken.
Sheila's in Crawley. Hi, Sheila.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Your thoughts on
this?
I'm
just so angry with you.
With me?
Have you ever heard of the Crown Estates and all the money that the government get from the Crown Estate?
Yes.
You do? Well, if I was the king, I would take them all back and just live on that.
Why are you angry with me, Sheila?
I'm angry with you because you're arguing about what the money the royal family has.
Do you think there's anything wrong with them charging the NHS to park ambulances on their land?
Do they?
Do they? Yes, they do. Over £11 million over 10
What
years.
proof have you got of that?
Well, the Sunday Times has established all the records.
Well, you believe everything that's in the newspapers?
They've published the records.
I'm just getting so angry with people arguing about our royal family. Who do you want? They're Biden or somebody else like Tony Blair?
But Sheila, I'm not saying we should get rid of them. I'm saying they should pay their fair share of tax.
Well, don't you think they do with the Crown Estates?
No, they don't have to pay inheritance tax or capital gains tax or corporation
No, they
tax.
don't. But if they were to take the Crown Estates back, they'd have a hell of a lot more money.
Why do you think they should get a tax break that no one else gets?
But they do. What do you think? You're ignoring the Crown Estates, aren't you?
I'm not ignoring the Crown Estates at all.
Who gets all the money from the Crown Estates?
Well, the Crown Estates is land that is run by the government and the profits of which go to the government.
Who did it belong to begin with?
What do you mean it belongs to the state?
No, it belonged to the king, not our king.
But Sheila, you haven't answered my question.
Years ago.
Why?
And because he was in money trouble, and so therefore he gave them over to the.
Why? Let me ask you two
they're
questions.
Getting a hell of a lot of money.
Let me ask you two questions.
From it. I'm just fed
Sheila,
up with people listen.
No, Sheila, I've listened to you, but you can't just
knocking our royal family.
Well,
Leave them alone.
Sheila,
Don't you think they've had enough trouble this year with all the illness that they've got?
Why,
and they're still
Sheila,
going out while they're ill.
Sheila, why should they get a tax break that nobody else gets when the king personally is worth £650 million?
But they do.
No, they don't pay tax.
Why are you so greedy about what they've got? What about all the other millionaires that we've got? What
But they
about
pay
Tony
tax,
Blair and
Sheila.
everybody else like that?
They pay
all
more
the money
tax
that
than the
they
head of
get
state.
out.
That's
Don't
the point.
Tell me they do.
They pay more tax than the head of state. They are liable to taxes that the head of this country is not. That's the whole point.
Oh, you just make me angry. I'm sorry. I used to enjoy LBC, but really, you just all make me angry.
Because we want the royals to pay the same tax as everyone else. Sheila's gone.